Every day, thousands of ships move quietly across the world's oceans. Oil tankers the size of skyscrapers. Container ships carrying everything from electronics to food. Warships patrolling invisible lines of power. Most people never notice. But there is one narrow stretch of water where the stakes are unlike anywhere else on Earth. A place where nearly a fifth of the world's oil passes through a corridor barely wide enough for ships to sail in 2 lanes. If this waterway were ever closed, even for a few days, the shock could ripple through the global economy almost instantly. Energy prices would spike. Supply chains would collapse. Within hours, the world's most powerful navies would rush toward a single point on the map. And for decades, one country has made sure that point never falls out of its control. The United States. At the center of this story is a narrow maritime passage known as the Strait of Hormuz. Located between Iran and Oman, this small stretch of water connects the Persian Gulf to the wider Indian Ocean. At its narrowest point, the strait is only about 21 miles across. But its importance is vastly larger than its size. Nearly 20% of the world's oil supply moves through this channel every single day. Massive tankers carrying crude oil from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and other Gulf states must pass through this corridor before reaching global markets. In other words, the global economy depends heavily on what happens in this small strip of ocean. And for more than half a century, the United States Navy has positioned itself as the primary force ensuring that the Strait of Hormuz remains open. But how exactly does the U.S. Navy maintain control over such a critical waterway? And why has this mission become one of the most important responsibilities in modern naval strategy? To understand that, we first need to look at the geography and history behind this strategic choke point. The Strait of Hormuz sits at the entrance of the Persian Gulf, bordered by Iran to the north and Oman and the United Arab Emirates to the south. Geographically, it is a perfect choke point. Shipping lanes themselves are even narrower than the strait. International maritime traffic is guided through 2 lanes, each only about 2 miles wide, with a 2-mile buffer zone between them. This means that a disruption in just a small portion of the strait could halt enormous volumes of global energy trade. And history has shown that the region surrounding Hormuz is anything but stable. The strategic importance of this waterway became especially clear during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. During that conflict, both sides targeted oil tankers in what became known as the Tanker War. Commercial ships were attacked with missiles, mines, and airstrikes in an attempt to damage the opponent's economy. The situation became so dangerous that the United States launched Operation Earnest Will in 1987, escorting Kuwaiti oil tankers through the Gulf under the protection of the U.S. Navy. American warships patrolled the region, clearing mines and protecting commercial shipping. It was one of the largest naval convoy operations since World War II. Since then, the U.S. Navy has maintained a continuous presence in the Persian Gulf and surrounding waters. Today, the U.S. Fifth Fleet, based in Bahrain, serves as the primary command overseeing naval operations across the region. And its mission remains clear: ensure that the Strait of Hormuz stays open. So how exactly does the United States Navy maintain control over such a strategically important waterway? The answer lies in a combination of geography, technology, and overwhelming maritime power. A constant naval presence. The first factor is simple but powerful: presence. The U.S. Navy maintains a near-permanent deployment of warships across the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Sea, and the wider Middle East. These deployments typically include destroyers, cruisers, amphibious ships, and sometimes full carrier strike groups. A carrier strike group centered around a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier brings enormous firepower. A single carrier can deploy more than 60 aircraft, including advanced fighter jets capable of conducting air superiority missions, precision strikes, and surveillance operations. Accompanying destroyers and cruisers provide missile defense systems, anti-submarine warfare capabilities, and additional firepower. This combination allows the United States to monitor, and, if necessary, control, the waters surrounding the Strait of Hormuz. Surveillance and intelligence. Maintaining control over such a vital waterway also requires constant awareness of what is happening in the region. The United States uses a vast network of surveillance tools to monitor activity across the Gulf. This includes satellites, long-range patrol aircraft, drones, radar systems, and naval reconnaissance ships. Aircraft such as the P-8 Poseidon patrol the region regularly, scanning the ocean for submarines, suspicious vessels, or unusual movements. Meanwhile, unmanned aerial vehicles can remain airborne for hours, providing real-time intelligence. This constant monitoring ensures that potential threats are detected long before they reach the shipping lanes. Countering potential threats, the biggest challenge in the Strait of Hormuz does not come from large conventional naval battles. Instead, the threat often comes from asymmetric tactics. Iran, which controls much of the northern coastline of the strait, has developed a strategy focused on smaller, fast-moving vessels, coastal missile batteries, naval mines, and submarines. This strategy is designed to disrupt shipping without directly confronting larger naval forces. Small attack boats could attempt to harass or overwhelm commercial vessels. Coastal missile systems could target tankers passing through the strait. Naval mines could block key shipping routes. In response, the United States has developed specialized capabilities to counter these threats. Mine countermeasure ships, underwater drones, and helicopters equipped with mine detection technology are designed to locate and remove naval mines. Destroyers equipped with advanced radar and missile defense systems can intercept incoming threats. And maritime patrol aircraft provide rapid intelligence updates if suspicious activity is detected. The power of carrier strike groups. Perhaps the most visible symbol of American naval power in the region is the carrier strike group. These formations are essentially floating military bases. A single carrier strike group can project power across hundreds of miles of ocean and land. Aircraft launched from carriers can conduct surveillance, intercept hostile aircraft, strike targets on land, or support naval operations. This flexibility allows the United States to respond rapidly to emerging threats in the region. If tensions rise around the Strait of Hormuz, additional carrier groups can be deployed within days. This capability serves as both a military advantage and a powerful deterrent. The message is simple: disrupting the strait would trigger an overwhelming response. The waters outside the Persian Gulf open into the Arabian Sea and the wider Indian Ocean. This allows the United States Navy to operate not just inside the Gulf, but across a much larger maritime area. Warships positioned outside the strait can monitor traffic entering or leaving the Gulf while maintaining operational flexibility. Meanwhile, regional bases, such as those in Bahrain, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, provide logistical support and rapid deployment capabilities. Together, these bases form a network that enables sustained naval operations throughout the region. The importance of the Strait of Hormuz extends far beyond the Middle East. Because so much of the world's oil supply passes through this waterway, any disruption could trigger global consequences. If shipping were halted even temporarily, energy markets would react almost immediately. Oil prices could spike dramatically. Countries heavily dependent on Gulf oil exports, such as Japan, South Korea, China, and many European nations, would face serious supply challenges. Shipping insurance costs would skyrocket. Energy markets could become volatile. In short, the effects would not remain confined to the region. This is one reason why the United States has invested so heavily in maintaining naval dominance in the area. By ensuring the strait remains open, the U.S. Navy effectively protects a critical artery of the global economy. But the strategic landscape is also evolving. China's growing reliance on Middle Eastern energy has increased its interest in the region. Meanwhile, regional powers such as Iran continue to develop new military capabilities designed to challenge naval forces. Advanced anti-ship missiles, drones, and underwater systems could complicate operations in the future. Despite this, the scale of American naval power remains difficult to match. The United States Navy operates the largest fleet of aircraft carriers in the world. Its global network of bases and alliances allows it to project power across multiple oceans simultaneously. And its experience in maintaining maritime security in the Persian Gulf spans decades. For now, this combination continues to give the United States a decisive advantage in maintaining control over the Strait of Hormuz. In the vast expanse of the world's oceans, control rarely comes from occupying territory. Instead, it comes from the ability to influence movement, to ensure that ships, trade, and resources can move freely across critical routes. Few places illustrate this better than the Strait of Hormuz. A narrow passage between two coastlines has become one of the most strategically important waterways on Earth. Every day, energy that powers cities, industries, and entire economies flows through this channel. And for decades, the United States Navy has made it clear that this flow must continue. Through constant patrols, advanced surveillance systems, powerful carrier strike groups, and a network of regional bases, the U.S. has positioned itself as the guardian of this critical maritime gateway. But the balance of power at sea is never permanent. Technology evolves. Rival powers adapt. New strategies emerge. The Strait of Hormuz will likely remain a focal point of global strategy for decades to come. And as long as the world depends on the energy that flows through this narrow corridor of water, the question will remain: who truly controls the most important waterway on Earth?